everybody. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Gameloft came out with some patch notes for Season 6. And today I will be going through all the changes and give you my opinion on what I think about those changes. But before all that, please leave a like if this is informative and consider subscribing for more gaming content. Putting up videos daily, and we'll cover all Disney Speedstorm related things as well as play some more games in the future. First update will be the teleport skill. It's a catch-up skill that you'll get as any character if you're so far behind that it's impossible to catch up, and is granted to you if you're in dead last. The changes they've made is that the duration, and I'm guessing they're talking about how long the teleportation is, has been reduced and is now more consistent. It's also no longer calculated based on a player's distance from the racer in first, which is a huge nerf. I've seen players intentionally wait at the starting line to then get the skill and catch up last minute, avoiding all the other racers in the process. The trail from the skill also lasts longer, and you'll see it as a streak of blue that also gives you a speed boost if you drive into it. But if they left that in or removed it, I do not know. It doesn't say. I guess we'll see. Now over to some racer balancing, the good part. Oh wow, seems like tricksters are getting a bit of a rework. They will no longer apply the hack skill effect when they bump other people, but will instead gain a random level 1 common skill from their own skill loadout. So essentially a free skill to use whenever they bump into someone. That could be useful. I for one think this is a great change. One that I'll appreciate more when I don't get the hack skill on me every time I get near a trickster. Hack is hard to deal with in a tight situation, so removing that is fine by me. Then we have Elizabeth. Her charge unique skill is getting a small nerf. The length of the trail will be reduced by 50%, which is quite a lot. However, to make up for it, it also lasts a whole second longer across all star levels. Overall, I believe this is still a nerf, but not a very big one. She'll still be played and be hard to pass once she's ahead and is using that unique skill of hers. I do not think this change will impact her gameplay that much, if at all. Steamboat Mickey also receives a slight nerf to his unique ability, cutting the length of it down by 35%, which is a fair bit, but his next change is definitely a huge buff that makes up for it. He will now gain manual boost every time someone enters his trail, and his base top speed has been increased. This will make Steamboat Mickey more dangerous, as his trail was already hard to dodge and you'll still lose control over your vehicle once you enter the trail. I think this will make him a way better character, one that will be more feared on the racetrack. Despite that, and despite the fact that I normally don't like trails that messes up your control, this was a much needed nerf and buff, and I believe it's way more of a buff than it is a nerf. Moving on, we have Steamboat Pete, and he's just getting an increase in both his acceleration and handling stat. I haven't played with this character too much just yet, but like with all other brawlers, they do seem to be in need of some more handling and acceleration. So I don't think this is a bad change either. And then we have Olaf, who, like Steamboat Mickey, has a trail. This too also gets nerfed by 35%. He also gets a reduction of 50% on the stun duration of that trail effect, which in my mind might make it more manageable being behind on Olaf. He's also got the added effect of extra manual boost once someone enters his trail. And his top speed have also been adjusted. It's hard to tell if this is a heavier nerf than it is a buff, but I believe he'll benefit from the added speed and extra manual boost. It's a fine change. Now here's a weird nerf, Lilo. Her trail effect no longer stuns at all. Her top speed has also been increased, but her trail no longer stunning racers is a huge nerf. While the other races we've covered have a trail that still stuns, they also have the added benefit of being able to control their car with the trail out. Lilo doesn't have that, and so removing her stunning capabilities is indeed a huge nerf that will impact her greatly. Will her new top speed make up for it? Only time will tell. Ooh, and here we go. Aladdin. He got a nerf to his uncharged unique skill, and it now travels slower across all star levels, which is great. I believe he needed such a nerf because it's very easy to gain a huge lead with that unique skill, and I still believe it'll be a great skill even with this nerf. Continuing onwards in the Aladdin universe, we have Jasmine. Her changes are pretty crazy. They gave her invulnerability. She did not have this before, and it's only on her uncharged unique skill. And they've reduced the duration by 20% to make up for it. This helps her defensive game, as well as balancing her unique in a way that seems fair. They also reduced her charged unique skill by the same amount, 20%, but to make up for it they also gave her manual boost generation. Great changes. I've seen too many Jasmine spamming the uncharged version because having Raja near you helps prevent anyone from passing you. But now you're forced to choose between more speed with the charged version or more protection from the uncharged one. Really great changes all around. Her top speed is also increased. Again, just a nice change overall. Reduction of both activations doesn't seem like a nerf to me. I think they overall gave Jasmine buffs, but from a quality of life changes perspective. We'll see where this takes her. I think she's gonna be playing. We'll see. On to a more familiar face if you caught my Climb to Champion series, we have Kristoff. His charged unique skill has its duration reduced by 1 second across all star levels, so a slight nerf on that one. Sven also moves ahead a little bit less, which might make it a bit harder to hit other racers further up ahead. He now generates manual boost for every rival racer that Sven stuns. His top speed have also been increased, which seems a bit odd. To me, his top speed seemed just fine. Overall, I think the increase in speed makes this an overall buff. Even if the charged unique skill lasts 1 second less, it's not enough of a nerf to his kit. He'll still feel great to play as, and getting manual boost out of Sven is fantastic. Next up we have Anna. She's getting nerfs across the board, having her unique skill on both activations reduced by 20%. Pretty straightforward, she gained too much invincibility and too much manual boost generation on both of them. She could essentially have manual boost at max the entire race if she got lucky and got unique skills every lap. This seems like a justified nerf to me, and I agree with it. However, being a trickster, she still got a small buff with bumping generating random common skill for her now, so she will be just fine. Her sister Elsa, on the other hand, seems to only be getting a buff. Her top speed have been increased, which I too agree with. She's been lackluster in the speed department, or rather she felt overall slower than the rest. I think this is a good change. Her skill kit seems well-rounded. More invincibility coming in with the changes to Hans, and this one makes a lot of sense. Why could you still get hit when you're invisible? It made no sense. Glad they gave this to him. It only makes sense. Getting an increase in top speed seems fine as well. Moving on, Belle's charged unique skill gets a small speed boost decrease. Not much hocus pocus here. The birds she summons grants movement speed if you're driving near them. And it now grants less of a speed boost. She did feel overtuned, so this is a good change. On to one of my personal favorites, a buff to Beast. Both acceleration and handling stats have been increased, and I love it. He's been feeling lackluster compared to the rest. This will help a ton on his game. He's still missing some invulnerability and struggles defending himself once he's activated 3 unique skills, but we'll see. Coming in hot, it's arguably the best character in the game, Mike Wazowski. They've dialed him back a little bit, reducing the distance he gets with his unique skill by 10%. Even that might not be fast enough to stop this fast green egg of a monster, but it's a well-deserved nerf. On the other side of the spectrum, Pigment is a character I don't see too often. He does get a buff here though. He usually gets 0 speed boost stars for activating his unique skill, but now he gains at least 1 upon activation. That is indeed a good change, and with the added change to Tricksters, we might see more Figments. He deserves some time in the spotlight. Speaking of spotlight, next up is Hercules, and his unique skill activation have both felt a little bit underwhelming. They're tuning him up a bit, increasing both the speed boost you get from driving in Pegasus Trail, and also increase the duration on both activations by a whole second. This will for sure help our strong demigod get back to his glory. And then we have 3 more characters that get some changes. It's Minnie Mouse, and she gets her speed nerfed a little bit. Shang's top speed has been increased. And Mowgli's wolves no longer collide with projectiles. The last one I didn't even know was a thing, but now that you mention it, I think I've seen it multiple times. I just thought it was a visual bug, I guess. Small changes on these 3. It might not make too much of an impact. Maybe Minnie gets played a little bit less because of her nerf and speed. But I think she's a great character to get into. Shang also got the fix now on his unique skill, which was honestly the most detrimental thing about him. So that's really great. And Mowgli and his wolves never hit anything, like I mentioned in a different video. We'll see if this change makes him hit more stuff. That's all the characters that are getting buffs and nerfs, and the rest is quality of life changes to the game. If you want to check those out, I'll leave the link to these patch notes down below in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be seeing you on the flip side. Bye bye!